Hi YouTube. I just wanted to put together a quick video. I was going to do something else today. I was going to do a different video, but this question keeps coming up in PMs. And I've had a lot of new silver investors come into my channel, and I just think that's fantastic. And this is a very important point because we talk so much about modern bullion, right? We talk so much about the premiums that you're going to pay for modern bullion. I'm not talking about the large premiums. I'm not talking about coins that are way over spot, but the ones that are an extra dollar or two a coin. I've often felt like that $1 or $2, believe it or not, really protects you from sharp downward moves in silver. When you look at modern bullion that sold, say, in 2011, the value of those went down a lot slower than the price of silver. But what is value, right? When we talk about the value of the coin, if you go into a local coin shop and slap it right down on the desk and say, "Yeah, I've got a 2012 Dragon here. eBay, I can get $50 for it. What will you give me?" You're going to be very surprised when he says, "I'll give you a spot." Okay. Silver Buddha is one of the newer guys that basically went through this. And you have to understand that you have to align your buying and your selling strategies. Okay, a lot of people do this. If your plan is literally to take a monster box of American Silver Eagles down to the local coin shop, that's going to be your best bet, right? They move a lot of those. They have a set buy and sell price, a nice little spread. It's a known commodity. It's what a lot of people are looking for when they go into a coin shop. So they'll give you a pretty good price for it. Okay? They really don't know how long a Lunar Series Dragon is going to sit on the shelf, especially when they have to price it at $40. They just don't know. Okay? So that uncertainty will hurt you. Okay? Because they're going to give you a lower price. It reminds me of like when you watch an episode of Pawn Stars, and somebody will say to Rick, "Well, I've done the internet research, and this is what it's going for," and his response is always the same. And I know that these are scripted shows, but it does reflect reality, from a negotiation standpoint. Well, he'll say, "Then go open up your own store, hire some employees, pay the light bills, and then you can ask for that too." So my strategy from day one has been, I don't want to pay for the local coin shop's employees. I don't want to pay for their building. I don't want to pay for their water. I don't want to pay for their electricity. I want to be my own coin shop. Okay? I'm not paying to keep the lights on at APMEX. I already did that when I bought from them. I'm not going to do that when I sell. Okay? I'm going to be my own guy. To really unlock the value of your silver or gold, you're going to have to sell it yourself. And the way that I intend to do that is, first and foremost, it's been eBay. Okay, I've bought and sold on eBay for years, for 15 years. I'm very comfortable with the process. Others may disagree. Others may find that they don't want to, get involved in something like that, they're not comfortable with it. Okay, so in that case, it really doesn't make sense for them to go out and pay a premium for koalas, unless they're perfectly happy with, the sticker shock of the local coin shop owner barely recognizing what the coin is and offering them spot as though it were a generic round. Okay, it's something that you kind of have to be prepared to do. It's the other reason why I feel very strongly that what Big Silver One is doing with Stackerville is so important, okay? Because like I said yesterday, there is a huge need in the marketplace for something like this. There just is. When it's time to sell some of your bullion, if you want to get that collector premium back, that's the way that you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to sell to somebody that thinks like you do, to somebody that's like-minded. If you think the silver market is small, and it is, you have to understand that modern bullion buyers are a fraction of that market too. Take this into work. Take a 2009 koala into work, and I guarantee you, maybe one person will even know what it is. Okay, we kind of lose sight of that because we all kind of congregate in the same location, right, on YouTube. So we're all like-minded, and we're all aware of this stuff. It's kind of like being a motorcycle enthusiast and going to Sturgis. Everybody's got a bike. You're looking around, yeah, everybody's got a bike. Meanwhile, you go in, and if you start talking about minutia with Harleys, the average person at work is going to be like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. So, look, there's also, it asks a question, and it's a valid one. Is modern bullion a trend or a fad? There was a real hole there from a silver buying perspective. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you went out and looked for a 1974 piece of silver? When was the last time you went out and looked for a 1978 piece of silver? 1981. Yeah, I'm going to look for that coveted 1981. I got nothing. There really wasn't much of a market back then. I mean, sure, there was people, buying constitutional coinage, 90% coins, pre-65 coins, hand-poured bars, and there was a silver market. But as far as what we think of today, this stuff didn't exist. Art bars. I mean, my God. So things have really changed. So, the Perth Mint coming along. They started their Australian Nugget series. I can't remember the exact year. I think it was like 1986. And stuff like that was a game changer when these mints started creating these beautiful new products. That this is what we all covet today. And there's a bit of a disconnect with the older school silver buyers. The guys that are looking at Morgans under a loop. There's a big difference. Does that make one right and one wrong? No. God, no. Absolutely not. But what is the trend going forward? Are people... Is this just going to wear out? I don't think so. But it's a question worth asking. But, it seems that everybody that comes into the modern bullion market, they start out with the most recognizable stuff. And that's obvious because that's really what they would associate with it. But it doesn't take them long to start finding this stuff and start chasing it. But I want you to understand that when it comes time to sell, you may get a blank stare from the guy with the cigar behind the coin shop shelf. And he's not going to give you fair value. He's just not. It's not going to happen. So, make sure that your buy strategy and your sell strategy are aligned unless you like a collection. But from an investment standpoint, it really doesn't make sense. So if you think that I'm going to take a lockbox down to the coin shop and dump it on the counter and think that he's going to start sorting through it and go, whoa, is that a 2009 koala? Here's $50. It's not going to happen that way. If your plan is to go onto Stackerville and say, I have a beautiful 2009 koala, it's in mint shape, and I'm asking $45, somebody will buy it from you. Somebody will. Somebody that needs that koala and sees that the eBay prices are $52, they'll pay the $45. But your local coin shop owner will not. So just please be prepared to understand that if you're looking for the ease of the transaction, if you're looking at, I just want to move this in one fell swoop, then you're going to be disappointed and you're going to lose money. Okay? If you want to basically be your own middleman, if you don't want to involve a middleman, if you want to move it yourself, then that's how you'll unlock the true value. So, yeah, I mean, my advice to you if you're starting out is you need to think about how you want to sell it and make sure that your buying strategy is aligned with your selling strategy. Because if they're not aligned, you're going to lose money. You're going to cost yourself money. Okay? So, give me your thoughts, guys. Like I said, I've just always been comfortable selling and buying stuff on eBay. It's nothing that's really concerned me. But I understand that, my thoughts may be different. And as far as modern bullion, I feel like this is kind of the new reality. I can't see people going back. These products are just so gorgeous, and it's such a cool way to invest in silver. I can't imagine that people will just simply abandon this. But I mean, you never know. At the top of any market, it certainly seems like the trend is still going strong. So there is that too. So I've always been the type of person that says, when you tell me that this time is different, I'm going to really take a close look at it. So, but in my opinion, this time it certainly is different. I think modern bullion is here to stay. But okay, give me your thoughts.